About you, but I only trust the best. So if you're looking at getting your roof checked out, redone, these are the guys that can help you. Belter Roofing and Construction, they are the best. They'll come out, do a free inspection. You can trust them with your roof. Call them, Belter Roofing and Construction. 405-952-7777. That's Belter Roofing and Construction.
This is the Jake for the State podcast, and this is the call for every red-blooded, God-fearing, liberty-loving patriot to prepare yourself, take your position, stand your ground, and advance the cause of freedom. Let's go.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Jake for the State podcast, and I continue to interview candidates as we get closer to the primary election coming up June 18th. Today's June 13th, so today's the first day of early elections, and then June 18th is the official primary, so just a few days away, and as we get closer, I'm going to continue to interview candidates to keep you as informed as possible so that you can get out and vote with information, with an informed perspective on who the candidates are. So here with me today is Justin Mize, not sheriff yet, but running for sheriff of Canadian County. And welcome to the show, Justin.
Hey, thank you, Jake. Good to be here.
Absolutely. Well, just what I typically do is let you give the people an opportunity, or give you an opportunity to tell the people who you are and what's your background and what led to this decision to run. So let's start there. What have you been doing the last few years?
Background on me.
Yes.
I grew up in Edmond. That's where I graduated high school from. Moved to Mustang back around 96, 97, right in there. That's where my wife and I, built our family. My kids grew up there and graduated from Mustang High School. My daughter recently blessed us with a grandson. Both of my kids are great professionals in their career path that they've chosen. Never disgraced the family name. I'm really proud of them for everything they've done. For many years there, I was in the oil and gas industry. From the late 90s. In 97, people find out about me. I do have a bankruptcy on my record back then. I had a failure. That's just what happens in the oil and gas industry. You get in it sometimes, it just stops. And you do what you got to do. I listened to attorneys, did what I needed to do. But in saying that, I also recovered. We went on to build a great company and then built some others along with it because we learned how to recover and pull ourselves up by the bootstraps, as my grandpa always said, and just move forward. You got to persevere and move on. I started my law enforcement career in 2009 under Sheriff Randall Edwards as a reserve. Went on to his reserve training and ended up being a captain in the reserve division, running it. We had a bunch of different deputies on that. In 2015, I decided to leave the oil and gas industry, and I went on full-time under Sheriff Edwards as a deputy in the patrol division. Worked out there till 2022 when I left the Canadian County Sheriff's Office. And I ended up going back to the private sector for a while, and now I'm down in Cleveland County working for Sheriff Amison and running for sheriff there to bring change back to the agency. I don't like the direction things are going, what I'm seeing. And I want to be the change that people need. Okay. So you're currently down serving with Sheriff Amison in Cleveland County. Yes, sir.
Coming back here to Canadian, it's an interesting scenario because you used to serve under Sheriff Chris West.
Yes.
And now you're coming back challenging him for this office of sheriff.
Yes, sir.
What do you want to cover as far as your time with him? What did you see in the office that you did not like, or what do you want to bring differently to Canadian County?
We lost a lot of programs. We lost a lot of people. We had some great deputies working there, and so I want to bring the change back. Kind of roll back a little bit, bring back some of the programs we had. They were great programs. I want multiple interdiction units running up and down the highway. We're seeing a lot of drugs and human trafficking, with the situation at the border. If we have the proper interdiction teams out there working the highways all the time, we're combating that, especially the human trafficking. That's very troubling what we're seeing. If you're paying attention to the border, there's a lot of children and so forth coming across the border. Well, where are they going? I think there's some trafficking going on with that. But along that same lines, we had a great canine program. I'm not saying we need all the dogs we once had, but we need a few of them. They're great tools that do a lot of work for us humans that we can't detect because technology hasn't come that far for us yet. One of the ones I do want to bring back, a specific canine, is our bomb dog. We saw that shooting out there that happened last year out there at Choctaw. I think a bomb dog's a great asset. We can put that at those schools when they do have special events. And if the metal detectors don't pick up a gun, well, that dog more likely is going to pick up that ammo. I think that's a great tool. I think that's something we can implement and go for. Besides that, the dogs, you can use that bomb dog to sweep the schools looking for guns, or somebody's brought one in a bag, or it's in their locker, in their car, things like that. You can also use the drug dogs to do the same things because the schools are having issues. The other area I say I want change for is we have a great cybercrime division, but I want to expand upon it. I want that to be a tool where the kids at the schools also can reach out to, because we're seeing, bullying and cyberbullying really happening and really ramping up. I'm reminded of the story right there from my own town. We had a kid commit suicide and another one attempted. They found her in the bathroom at the high school. So all because of cyberbullying. I think we need to, work to help them. It's just some of the change I want to bring to them, and I've always said since day one of this, transparency also. They've got their own set of issues with lawsuits and so forth over some accusations. I want to be fully transparent, so I want every deputy to have a body camera, every car to have a camera in the car too. I tell everybody that, even me as a sheriff, I wear a body camera when out doing the job. It's no problem, and I've told everybody, be a working sheriff, open door policy, you can see me anytime. I'll be out in the community doing the job. There's no reason for me not to be. That's what I think we should do.
Yeah. As we get closer to election, there's a lot of hyper focus, I would say, a lot of extra focus on the candidates, and they want to know the differences between the two. Mm-hmm. What really separates you from Sheriff West and makes you the better candidate for this position?
For me, the way I look at it, he lets others run the office. When I was there, our undersheriff made a lot of decisions, and so did the majors and so forth. I very rarely saw him in the office. Now, he may have changed since I've left. I don't know. I can't speak for the time since I have not been there. But for me, I'm going to be accessible to the people. I've heard many people tell me that when I've knocked at the door, they can't ever talk to him. They don't ever see him out, A lot of people mentioned to me about after the January 6th ordeal that blew up on him that he went off, social media and so forth, and he just got back on when the campaign started. I'm not going to do any of that. If I make a wrong decision and they want to blow up social media or whatever against me, so be it. I'm not going to get off of it. I'm going to use it. I think those are great tools to get messages out to the public. So, that's some subtle differences on them. But for me, I just want to be part of the community. Like I said, out there doing the job, helping people, mm-hmm. and make sure that the door's open. Come in here and see me. Pick up the phone, call me. I've got no reason to hide from anybody. I've got, if I come to your event, I'll be at your event. I'm going to stay to the duration, and that way people can talk to me. And that's what I've been doing during this campaign. When I've showed up at events, I stay. There's only one that I had to leave, and we had a family emergency that kicked off. My grandson was having a hard time breathing, and my daughter's rushing to the hospital. She wanted her mom and dad there because, her husband was still out in the field trying to get some harvesting done, and he was going to try to get there. He was having to shut down to get there. So we left in a hurry to get to her side and give them a hand. But that's just things that I believe in. I'm a deep-rooted family man, and that's what I try to do. And I want to bring that sense back to the agency. That's what I felt when Edwards was there. We were all kind of like family. I remember I hosted barbecues for him. Did stuff, we all met up at the office.
Who's Edwards again?
Huh?
Who is Edwards?
He was the former sheriff, Sheriff Randall Edwards.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I'd bring my big cooking trailers up there, and, I cooked. We did that on a Christmas party, too. I enjoyed it, and it just brought a big sense of family, and I think that's really missing from the agency.
Yeah. Well, so there's the question circulating. I know that out in Yukon, the Yukon paper, they were published an article about the race and everything. And the question is, are you a disgruntled employee coming back to seek vengeance for being released from the sheriff's department? So how would you address that?
I'm not a disgruntled employee. I resigned from there. is actually what I did. I turned in a resignation letter. I'm not disgruntled. I was just disheartened when I left. What I was seeing was going on there was horrible, and that affected me. They accused me of something that I didn't do, and with a crazy investigation, I would say, because I had applied for the Union City Police Chief job, and they tried to say I did it on their time, which I didn't. I did it on my home time. It landed on Union City's computer at night. I didn't work past 5 o'clock, so I don't understand how they said that. And it came from my email, and I even turned in a personal application in person. I took time off my job to do that. The lady who's running for commissioner, Lacey Dawson, her husband was there when I turned in my application. I was talking to him about his truck as I did it, because I really like his old farm truck. They didn't, Union City has cameras. They have timestamps on computers too. The agency I'm currently working for, did their due diligence to do their background investigation on me. So I just don't see it as an issue. I left, like I said, I resigned.
Just to catch up the listeners who may not be aware of the details there, that the accusation was that you had, like you said, applied for another position out in Union City, and the accusation is that you used county resources, your patrol car, your computer, and things like that to apply and then go out there and do interviews and such, turn in applications while on the clock at the Canadian County Department. So because of those I guess the story is they fired you, but your story is that you resigned.
They didn't fire me. They demoted me to the jail is what they were doing.
Oh, okay.
And
right.
I
misspoke. Yeah, exactly.
I did some time in the jail, then I resigned. I wasn't going to work the jail. But yeah, that's what they accused me of. But I told them, their timing when my car was there versus when I interviewed doesn't match up. I said, I know when I interviewed at night. And my interview was like at 6:30 at night. The only time my car was down there as, my marked unit was the night the chief's badge was retired because he died of COVID. I knew the chief real well. My buddy Brandon Owens also passed away. He worked down there. So I stopped in on the way home, which it's on my route. I didn't think there was anything wrong with me stopping along my route for 10 minutes to watch them do the retirement for the chief's badge. It was the first thing on their agenda, and that's what I did. Judge Charles Gass was with me. He pulled in the same time I did. We'd both walked out of the courthouse together. We both sat next to each other. We watched the retirement ceremony. We both got up, shook hands, told Judge to see him in the morning, and I went on home. He went, I guess, wherever Judge Gass goes. But that was the only time my unit had been down there. Any other time it was down there was for business. I was a civil deputy. I had to serve documents and so forth. So there was times you'd have to go down there to drop off documents for their police officers, and sometimes I'd be looking for information, trying to track somebody down that was in their city, because who better to ask than the guys who work in that city all the time? Have you seen this cat guy? He's supposed to live down here, and I'm not finding him there. Do you know where I could catch him? And they give you great intelligence. Say, nah, he moved out, or yeah, he went to jail, or he can be seen over here. He moved over here. You can find stuff like that out on those guys. So that's the only other time my car was down there. And like I said, all my interviews, everything was all at night. I didn't work past 5. Mm-hmm. So, and like I said, they've got their great video system down there. Everything's recorded. And they've got me on video. The time I interviewed, what car I pulled up in, it was my pickup, So I had no reason to lie about any of that stuff. It's all on video.
So after being demoted for these accusations, then you decided that you'd rather leave?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't going to work the jail. I didn't feel that was just. Like I said, to me, the investigation was one-sided. I knew I was a target there for other reasons, and so I just decided to leave. I can go make more money working in the private sector, and that's what I did. I went to the private sector. I really wasn't thinking about law enforcement at the time. I was like I said, I wasn't disgruntled. I was really disheartened. I was like, man, I just can't believe people want to do stuff like this. And then when Cleveland County talked to me about coming to work down there, that's, a lot of thoughts and prayers went about that before I made the ultimate decision to do it. So when talking to my family and, my pastor and so forth, because I just wanted to know what direction I needed to go. And, of course, God's pointing me in my way.
How are you serving the sheriff department down there in Cleveland
I'm a
County?
civil deputy down there. I
Okay.
serve the court documents just like I did at Canadian County. That's what I do. I drive around all day doing writs of execution, VPOs, subpoenas, all that stuff, serving those to the people, tracking them down.
Right, right. And at what point then did you decide while serving down there that this would be the race, the position that you would want to fill here in Canadian County?
I had several people around me ask me about it, and then there's some deputies that are still working there that hit me up asking me to run. And they said, we like your style, we like your honesty. That, you know what, I always tell people how it is. If you don't like it, you don't like it. This is the way it is. I'd pull people aside and tell them, hey, don't treat people like that. Don't do this. So they approached me and asked about it, and I told them, it's been on my mind, but I wasn't sure, and I prayed about it. And I talked to my wife about it, and of course, one of my main people in my life was my grandfather, and he passed away years ago, but I sat down and prayed and talked to him, give me guidance from where he could. Mm-hmm. And one day at church, one of the ladies there pulled me aside. She does a lot of praying stuff, and asked me if I would come sit with her and talk to her, and I did. She told me God's going to ask me to do something, and I need to really listen. And I said, okay. And she goes, remember, we have a lot we pray for, and we ask God, for things, and but He's got some things He wants to say to you. I said, wow, that's powerful. And she said, so listen, you just need to, and I haven't told her anything about what's been going on. Except months back when I left, I did tell her I left the sheriff's office and asked her to pray, to give me some direction. And so we parted ways that day. And that night, I remember, doing some stuff in the yard, talking, and my wife came out and she brought it up to me. Said, have you decided if you're going to run for that spot? And this was about, late July, early August. And I said, I've been thinking about it, and I've been praying, and I'm really considering it, babe. I said, I just think that it's time for a change. We need, we got to stop the good old boy system. We need some good people in there, some people of faith, and that really put that. And she says, well, I'm behind you if you want to do it. She goes, something just telling me, I think that's maybe what you need to do. So, and then she helped me finish the yard work stuff I was doing. And then that Sunday I went to church again, and Dee Dee pulled me aside, and we talked again. And she says, God sent you His message. And I said, yeah. And I asked her about something I saw in a dream, and she described it to me. And I said, yeah, that's exactly what I saw. And she says, so are you listening? I said, I'm listening. So I sat down with my family, that night with my kids. They were over, and told them, I said, I'm going to run for sheriff. I said, I've made my decision. I said, there are a lot of people asking me to, and I told them what I'm going to run on and how I want to do it, and I'm not going to let nothing get in the way. And I said, I'm going to stay positive. I'm not here to trash the other candidate. I'm here to tell people what I can do and what I want to bring, and that's what we've done. I haven't stayed away from that because it's important to me in my heart, and that's what I want people to remember me for. Even if I don't win, that I didn't go out there and try to trash somebody trying to get the win. I don't think that's the way you do it. I think you hit them at the door, and that's what I've been focusing on is that. I haven't taken no big political money. No PAC money, no nothing. It's been all from people that live in my community, live around me, and the same with all the help at the doors. It's been them. People always talk about, I've gone to some of the same deals you've been to, like the Lions Den up there in Edmond. Mm-hmm. I've been to some stuff up in Guthrie with Aya Kelly. Got some great advice and see how things are done. Of course, I went to the Canadian County Lions Den, get some different feedback from them, but so I prefer Rhonda's group. I think they're really great people. But for me, I just found that with my volunteer force, we meet up at my house, and get a lot of stuff done. Where Rhonda's told me time and time again they'll help me, but I'm like, it's just such a hassle to load everything up and drive up there.
Yeah.
When I'm right here, and I got volunteers right here that we're all willing to meet up at my house, and I'll cook. I love to cook, and stuff. I'll cook and feed everybody.
Volunteers are the key to a campaign. And
Yeah.
Man, it's such a blessing. But hey, there's just a few days left, 5 days left until the primaries.
Oh, yes.
Blessings on you as you finish this race strong and really step into what you believe God has called you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're anxious to see the results. Any final words? How can people find out more about you or your campaign?
They can find us on Facebook. That's real quick for a lot of people. A lot of people still use that. We're on Instagram. Also on my website, justinmizeforsheriff.com. And I answer everybody's questions. I'm willing to meet up with people. We've been being surprised with some meetings lately. People say they want to meet up. I meet up, show up, and there's a whole big group of people, at a farm or something. And got all the farmers together. So that's been great. They can any of those ways.
Okay.
I've got my phone number out there. They can text me and so forth. I do that, but all up to the time election, I'm going to be out knocking on the doors. I'm not stopping now.
Right.
I tell everybody I'm running this game like I'm 100 points behind.
Yep.
I still got to pick up the pace. So
you're all in, though.
I'm all in.
So JustinMizeForSheriff.com. You can find out more about him and his race. I appreciate your time, Justin.
Hey, thank you, Jake. Thank you for allowing me to come on. I appreciate you.
All right. Well, you guys check it out, JustinMizeForSheriff.com. If you're in Canadian County, you can vote. It'd be a pretty significant county. The county sheriff, is a chief law enforcement officer of the county, and very important, especially in these days where we're seeing this rampant federal overreach and a lot of concerns from people saying who will step up to ensure that we're defended, our rights, our God-given rights are defended. And so usually the first person they call is the sheriff. So we value that position and need the right person in there. Go check it out, JustinMizeForSheriff.com, and see if you believe he's the right person. But I appreciate you tuning in to the podcast, to the show. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help get the word out and help good candidates like this get their message out and let people know what they're running for. So, like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time right here on the Jake for the State podcast.